Welcome back. I'm Robert Burwell, your host, and I am the president of the Washington 3%. And I am here to talk to you about all the stupidity that's going on in the state of Washington and inform you of what you can do to try to stop it. Today we're going to be talking about House Bill 1696, which is basically free down payments for people who have the right skin pigment. So it's basically free down payments for first-time black homeowners. So I'm going to give you history behind this a little bit. This basically is building on a bill that was passed in 2023 called the Covenant Homeownership Program, which went into effect in 2024. Basically, if you bought a home in Washington State, normally you have to pay all these recorder fees and things like that as you're doing your paperwork, and and the recorder fees go to the state. Well, this bill adds extra fees on the recorder fees for all the documents that have to be filed, and they are all placed into a fund for the Covenant Home Ownership Program. This fund is for first-time black homeowners in Washington State, and it gives them, if they qualify, which you just have to have the right skin color to qualify, you can get a no-interest loan for a down payment on your first home. So, this is bad enough, right? And why I'm saying it's bad enough is because it's racist. It's only for one race. It's for black people only. And it violates the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which says you cannot discriminate based on sex, race, religion, or country of origin. You can't do it. It's a violation, and this is blatantly in violation of that. But that one kind of flew under the radar. A lot of people didn't know about it when it passed, but once it became law last year, people really started taking advantage of this program, and why not, right? I mean, if I met the qualifications of skin color, I would definitely do it. Get a, zero interest loan for a down payment on a house? Absolutely. And what the average loan that they've been giving out is $120,000. That's the average loan. $120,000 for a down payment. That's a nice dang down payment. Okay, I didn't have that much for a down payment when I bought my house. Of course, I had to save my own money and buy my own house. But anyways, I digress. But so many people took advantage of this program last year that fund is already broke. It's already broke. There's no money in there from all the fees, extra fees that people who are buying houses have to pay. There's no money left in that fund. So enter the 2025 legislative session. And the Democrats are not going to disappoint, because if this wasn't egregious enough, this blatantly racist law that they passed, they're up in the ante, and they're up in the ante big time. So this year, under House Bill 1696, they're going to take the Covenant Home Ownership Program and they're going to change it from zero interest loans to a gift. Here you go. We will give you a free down payment for your first house if you meet the right skin color. No other qualifications. Nothing. You just have to be the right skin color, and you have to be buying your first house, and they're going to give you money for your down payment that you don't have to pay back. Now, the general fund's broke. I mean, not the general fund. The fund for this is completely broke. But that's okay. We'll just take it out of the general fund, you know. We don't have enough money for police or education or roads or anything we're supposed to fund, but we're going to go ahead and just pull money out of there because, you know what, we are virtuous and we feel so bad for the oppressed peoples of the world. So we're going to show them just how virtuous we are, and we're going to give them free money to buy their first house. Absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, they try to claim this generational wealth crap, saying, you know, oh, you know, because black people were oppressed, they couldn't build generational wealth, and white people can, and all this kind of stuff. How many people do you know that have generational wealth? Any race, any color. How many people do you know that actually have generational wealth? Who has generational wealth? Rich people. They have generational wealth. The rest of us, the other 99% of us in the world, don't have generational wealth. I don't care what color your skin is. We don't have generational wealth. The only money I have is money that I earned myself. I had to pay my own way. I had to save and scrimp and sacrifice, not take trips, never buy a new car, so I could afford a down payment to buy my house. Nobody gave me money. My family didn't magically rain money upon me when I came of age so that I could just go out and buy whatever house I felt like. And I'm pretty sure that the vast majority of you, no matter what color you are the same way. Everything you have, you had to work for. Nobody gave it to us. Nobody gave me a dang thing in my life as far as, you know, when I'm an adult having to, you know, fend for myself. Everything I own, I bought myself. Nobody gave me nothing. And I had to pay high interest because, you know, when you're really poor like I was, I had to pay high interest rates because of my credit wasn't really good because I was poor. You know? I'm talking payday loans, poor. I did that for a long time. There's no generational wealth in my family. My grandparents came here from the Dakotas in the 1920s in a covered wagon. In the 1920s, they still had a covered wagon because they couldn't afford a car. So they came here in a covered wagon. Okay, they bought a little piece of property over in eastern Washington. The only building on it was a chicken coop. And they took that chicken coop and fixed it up inside and then added rooms on as they had more kids. And they raised a family with 6 children in that converted chicken coop. That's where I come from. That's my generational wealth. The other side of the family, poor farmers from Arkansas. Poor. They used to go to town in the 40s in a buckboard wagon because they didn't have a car. In the 1940s, taking a wagon to town. They didn't have electricity or running water. Where's my generational wealth from that? Talk about a complete load of BS, and I'm really trying to not get this video blocked. That white people automatically have this mystical generational wealth. This, you know what it is. But yeah, they're trying to justify this, saying that we've had all these advantages. You know, just because of the color of our skin, I have all these advantages. Well, you know what? The color of my skin, when I got out of the military, I wanted to be a cop. I tested in the top 1%, 3 different police departments on the entrance exam. Top 1%. All 3 times I was told, we'd really like to hire you, but right now we're only allowed to hire women and minorities. So try again next time. That's what discrimination is. Even though these people scored lower than me, they got hired. I didn't because I was white. That's real discrimination. Okay? Nothing in this life's free. Everything should just be based on your qualifications, period. But getting back on point, this whole idea that, oh, just because you're born of a certain skin color, that you should automatically get a free down payment for your house averaging $120,000. It's blatantly illegal under the Civil Rights Act of 1964. You cannot discriminate in the United States of America, which last time I checked, Washington's in the United States of America. You cannot discriminate based on race, ethnicity, sex, national origin, or religion. And having a program that is only for people of one race, one skin color, is discrimination, period. It's obvious that this makes me pretty mad, and I hope it does you too, because it should. Well, Republicans tried to fight it, even though they don't have the numbers to stop anything in the state. The Democrats have a majority that in both houses. There's nothing that Republicans can do, but they tried to fight it, but they didn't even go after it under the obvious illegality and discrimination that this bill is, because they know if they would have tried to fight it on grounds of discrimination, which it is discriminatory, there's no two ways about it. There's no way they would sway a single Democrat with that, because everything to them is race-based. Everything is seen through the lens of race and color and injustice. So they didn't even try that argument, because they knew that was going to be a dead argument. The argument they used was the fact that the fund is broke, that we're supposed to draw this money from, and we are facing a $14 billion budget deficit over the next 4 years. Now, just a few weeks ago, it was reported it was $12 billion. Now it's up to $14 billion, and I've even heard some rumors of $15 billion. But I'm just going to stick with the $14 billion for now. $14 billion budget deficit over the next 4 years. That's what you call bankrupt. That's what you call broke. We don't have no money. Instead of trying to fix that, Democrats are pushing this bill to give money away with no repayment whatsoever. Just throw money around like monopoly money. Here you go. Here's money because, ooh, you're so oppressed. So oppressed. Here you go. Here's free money for a down payment on a house. So Republicans try to come at it from that angle. We can't afford it. We flat can't afford it. And what was the Democrats' response in Washington House? Was it an argument about, no, we can cut this program and find the money here or whatever, some fiscal type of argument that made sense of how we might be able to fund this stupidity? No. Their argument was, you're racist. That was their argument. You're racist. How dare you? How dare you try to stop this discriminatory practice? If you want to stop us from being discriminatory, you're a racist. That's their argument. And specifically, we had a couple of Democrats who were very loud about it. And unfortunately, Federal Way, they're both your reps. They're both from your district. That would be Christine Reeves and Jamila Taylor, both of Federal Way. They were very vocal about how racist Republicans were for daring to say we can't afford this. As a matter of fact, Miss Jamila Taylor stood up before the House and claimed that House Republicans who opposed the bill on financial grounds, they were racist and wanted to call her a monkey. That's what she said. She said they wanted to call her a monkey because she dared to want to participate in our inclusive economy. So because they don't feel this is appropriate on fiscal grounds, she's saying that they're calling her a monkey and she shouldn't be able to participate in our inclusive economy. That was her big argument. Yep. Gee, I believe there was a racist on the floor that day, but it wasn't the Republicans. I'll tell you that much. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That was their only argument. So Republicans, they tried to do some amendments, which, of course, Democrats shot them all down. But the most egregious of the amendments that the Democrats shot down was an amendment where the Republicans wanted to add a phrase in there where it would bar sex offenders from getting these loans because, you know, sex offenders are the worst of the worst as far as I'm concerned. As far as most people are concerned, you know, sex offenders are horrible people. They're the bottom of the barrel. And, you know, they shouldn't be allowed to take advantage of some program that's this generous. That, you know, the Republicans wanted to bar sex offenders, convicted sex offenders, from being able to participate in this sweetheart of a deal. Well, Democrats, no, because we like sex offenders too, right? We protect them. So, nope, they voted it down, 51-42. Every Democrat voted to allow sex offenders to have access to this program. Yeah. So I hope you're mad. I hope you're really mad at this point, because I sure am. Anyways, at the end of the day, this passed out of the House. They voted it through, and it now goes to the Senate. So if you want to stop this discriminatory piece of you-know-what bill, you need to contact your senators and tell them absolutely no. We can't afford it. It's illegal. It's racist. And it will be challenged in court. And it will cost us millions of dollars to defend this racist, illegal piece of garbage. Contact your senators, because it goes to the Senate next. This needs to be stopped. It's nothing but a reparations bill, which last time I checked, nobody alive was a slave. Nobody alive owned slaves. And as far as these racist, you know, housing things that used to happen back in the day, you're talking 1940s. I doubt anybody who was, you know, alive in the 1940s is going to be a first-time home buyer right now. So I don't think there's anybody running around affected who's going to be a first-time home buyer. And if they are, well, then, you know, more power to you. But this is complete garbage, and it needs to be stopped. So, you know the drill. Contact your senators. Raise hell with them, because this is terrible. I mean, I sure miss the 80s and 90s when we didn't have racism like we do now. Back then, we didn't even think about it anymore. Ever since 2006, we have so much reverse racism in this country, it's ridiculous. You got all these idiot freaking liberal elites who say, look how virtuous I am. I'm doing all this stuff because us white people, we're so racist. No, we're not. I don't care what color you are. I care what kind of person you are. And that's how the vast majority of people in this nation think. We don't give a crap what color your skin are. We just care if you're a good person or not. That's all that matters. That's all that should matter. That's all that used to matter. Until this leftist lunacy took over and started pushing this BS racist agenda to try to divide people, which they've been pretty successful with a lot of the city folk, the supposedly educated people. That's a whole nother subject. We'll not go there, but you know the deal. Contact your senators and oppose this. My next subject I'm going to talk about, this is going to be just real quick. Let me see. So, our Washington State Attorney General, Nick Brown, is now suing Adams County for not following Washington's illegal restrictions to not work with immigration officials. The illegal part was, I added that. Because it is illegal. But he is suing, Adams County, and specifically the Sheriff's Department of Adams County, because they dare to work with immigration customs enforcement and, you know, report when they have illegal aliens in custody. So Yeah, our Attorney General suing them under our sanctuary laws, which they themselves are illegal. Sanctuary laws are illegal. But they're suing the sheriff for daring to follow federal law and honor ICE detainers and work with our immigration service. So, yeah, that's more of your tax dollars being spent, wisely. I mean, how dare they, how dare they follow federal law and try to get rid of illegals in this country? Okay, illegal means you're not legal. It means you are here criminally. And, under USC 13, USC paragraph section 1325, illegally entering the country is a civil infraction. A civil infraction is still a law. You've broken a law, and there are consequences when you get an infraction. Just like if you get a speeding ticket, there are consequences. If you get it, that's a civil infraction. You get a ticket, you have to do something. You have to go to court. You have to pay it. Something, right? So it's a civil infraction to come here illegally. Okay? And under the civil infraction, if you come here illegally, you are to be arrested and detained and must go before a deportation hearing. Okay? Let me read that again. You must be arrested. If you're here illegally, you must be arrested, detained, and you have to go before a deportation hearing, where at such point you can plead your case for sanctuary or whatever you're trying to get. But you have to, if you came here illegally without following the normal processes and we catch you, we are supposed to arrest you, detain you, and you have to go before a judge for a hearing on deportation. And if it is found that you're guilty of illegally coming into the United States, which means you came here across the border, you did not come here through legal channels, you will be deported. Period. So under the civil infraction, if our law enforcement under U.S. Code Section 1325, if you are law enforcement under federal law and you pick up someone who is illegal, you have to arrest them and detain them and turn them over for a deportation hearing. That's the way the law is written. That's what they're supposed to do. Here in Washington, we tell our law enforcement not to work with federal agencies. Okay? No, don't work with them. Don't contact them. Don't ask. Don't ask if they're legal or not. Don't ask them for proof of citizenship or illegal or not. Well, number one, they're not going around asking for green cards. But when they pull somebody over and then they run the person's name and they find out that they are, there has been a detainer issued for deportation because they've already gone through their hearing and they have a detainer issued, they are not allowed, our law enforcement is not allowed to contact Immigration and Customs Enforcement and let them know that, hey, we have somebody that you have a detainer on, come get them. No, we are told not to contact them and to let this person who we know is here illegally, who we know has a detainer, which means he has been found here illegally and is supposed to be deported, and we're not supposed to contact immigration and let them know, hey, here's your guy, get him out of here. No, we're going to protect them. No, we're just going to not tell them. When you don't tell ICE that you have this person that they have a detainer or even a warrant for, if you do not share that information with ICE, you are now guilty of knowingly concealing, harboring, or shielding from detection someone who is in the U.S. in violation of law. That's what you're doing. That is a violation of law, and it is a federal crime under United States Code Section 1324. So if a police officer pulls over somebody and runs their name, and they find out that there is a detainer or a warrant for their arrest, and they follow our sanctuary state laws, which are illegal because they violate United States Code 1324, If they don't notify ICE, they are guilty of knowingly concealing, harboring, or shielding from detection someone who's in the U.S. in violation of federal law. Okay, that's a violation of federal law. So, the sanctuary state laws, as far as this telling law enforcement not to cooperate with federal officials, is actually placing those officers in jeopardy of violating federal law, and these policies themselves are in violation of Section 8 U.S. Code 1324. Okay? It's illegal. But yet, our Attorney General is suing the county for following federal law. And it's just a matter of time before the current federal administration gets around to Washington and starts taking these people down for this garbage. Because it is a violation of federal law. Washington is guilty of harboring illegal immigrants. Period. They are. Sanctuary laws are harboring. Harboring, concealing, and they're going to get theirs, hopefully. But right now, our wonderful Attorney General, Mr. Nick Brown, is suing the Adams County Sheriff. Adams County and the Sheriff's Department for following federal law. So we'll see how that turns out. Since that'll happen in Washington court, most likely they'll probably win. But, you know, just shout out to Adams County Sheriff Dale Wagner. Stand tough. Fight this stupidity. Take them all the way to Supreme Court if you have to. Because that's what it's going to take. Because you're not going to get a fair hearing in this state. You won't. Period. There is no rule of law in Washington. That being said, that's about all I have to say on that one. But yeah, just as I stated before, this channel is just all about informing you on what's going on in Washington and what you can do about it. And an informed voter is a smart voter. You just need to be informed. Pay attention to what's going on. Because I would bet money that the majority of people in this state, if they actually paid attention to what was going on and knew what was going on, there's no way they'd be voting the way they are. We have to tackle this apathy issue. So share this video, inform people, let them know what's going on in this state, and have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Good night.